Welcome back to another app. Not sure if I did that in the right order. Um, jump right in. Just a guy question. What are the rules around commenting on your girl's um, makeup? Like, I'm thinking about this from my perspective, and this is going to be probably the dumbest thing I can say, but I'd prefer a woman with like as little makeup as possible. Hopefully, I like that. That sounds right. Because obviously, like, I don't know if I don't know you're wearing makeup and it looks like you, then that's exactly that. That's fair. That's fine, right? So I feel like I'm not gonna say don't wear makeup or I like a girl with no makeup because truth is like I don't know most of the time whatever is on your face, and most guys don't know. It's when I obviously know that there is makeup on, it quickly becomes like it does become unattractive to me. And I'm not saying this to just random women, right? Like, I guess for context, you would probably only have that conversation if you were like dating somebody seriously. But you can't also just wait, right? Like, what if you go out with somebody for like a few months and then you're like, okay, yeah, this is like a couple months, and then you're like, all right, this is serious. Like, we're gonna then be like, hey, guess what? There's this time, like, probably several times over the last few months where, if not more, because I don't know, what if it's more than several? What if it's 20 times? Who knows how many times you see each other? Yeah. By the way, I don't actually like the way your face looks, and I'm joking. I'm joking because like that's the only way I feel like the conversation is even worth having because I'm probably just being stupid. Even you don't say anything, I'm guessing. I don't know, but yeah, I feel like you should be able to have that conversation. But it is such a weird, like you're tight roping this. Don't want to come off mean and say you're not pretty or insinuate that's what we think. Well, if you're somebody like me, like if I see you and I'm like I like you and we're dating or even before that, right? If I'm spending any amount of time with you, it's because I think you're attractive. Ideally, I've seen you at least with like little to no makeup on, and I think that's why I would be going out with you in the first place. Um, just like purely on attractiveness, not talking about like personality stuff. So, yeah, what is that? Like, how do you bring that up and not like crush a woman's soul? Like I've had a girl tell me that it's because she feels pretty, and like, what am I supposed to say to that? What am I supposed to say? No, you don't. Like, that's not what I'm trying to say. Of course not. But I am trying to say like I I don't like I don't like it. I don't think you look as pretty as you could look if you didn't. I'm trying to save you some time with your day, if that makes any sense at all. I'm trying to save you some time and energy because it really does feel like as soon as I notice that you put on makeup, I'm being entirely honest. I don't think I ever really know. So this could just be a moot point, but because maybe all women are already on the same page of trying to make it look like they don't. But when I can tell that you do have on makeup, I immediately think like, oh, that's I don't like that. That's not cute. Like you don't look that way. If I know you don't look that way, and then you look different, I'm like, oh, that's not your face. That's not what you look like, right? And that's me at least aware of the fact that you probably put on makeup a lot of the times, and it's so subtle because I'm sure they make makeup like that that's meant to be subtle. But when you're not doing that, like when you're throwing colors on your face or your face is like red and you don't have a hint of red in your skin tone, um, but your cheeks are just like a baby a baby piglet's ass cheeks are the color of your facial cheeks. That's not you. You know what I mean? And the example that comes to mind is like a wedding, like brides and their bridesmaids. They obviously get their makeup done. Usually, I feel like they get their makeup done. That's like a common thing. And I feel like they put on. And I'm gonna say a lot of makeup. I don't know what a lot means. Like if you're doing like a natural makeup thing, I would have no idea. Like quantity wise, is it the same amount of makeup used, or is it quite literally less makeup? I mean, to me, my brain thinks like if you're not coloring your face a different color, then it probably is less. But I don't know. So that's fair. If you're putting on the same amount of makeup, you are, but you're making it look natural. I would, I guess, choose that and say like that's whatever. Then my point is again, makeup's not the problem. It's just the way it looks on you that I feel like is not a problem. It's not the right word. It's not a problem. It's unattractive, in my opinion. That's it. And but at a wedding, I assume like you're putting on a certain amount of makeup for pictures. I'm sure it's a certain type of makeup. But I've seen pictures, and I'm not saying these like girls aren't pretty or women aren't pretty when they're at their wedding photos. I'm just looking at them like that's not what you look like. I know what you look like, you know. And I know like women who I've worked with, so like I've seen them in different settings, and it's like again for a wedding, it's a whole event. I'm sure there's reasons for it. You're taking a ton of pictures. You want them to look as best as possible over the night of dancing and eating and doing all this stuff. But on a Wednesday night, what's up? Why do you look like you've thrown four Snapchat filters over your face just to watch a movie at home, right? So how do men bring that up? How do guys tell women they don't like makeup, right? Especially if it's like you think you're pretty. I have no recourse there. Like, what am I? I'm just gonna walk away. All right, I'm out. Guess we won't talk about this again for another 5 years. How am I supposed to say something to that? The answer probably is as simple as is probably as simple as you don't say anything. But I do think like this is one of these things that it's not. It is obviously tied to like a whole industry and maybe like the pressure women face. But I also think it's like interestingly, I'm trying to tell you that I think you look prettier without it. And that's like a contradiction, I'm sure, for a lot of women. So what is the middle ground? If there is any, how do you bring it up? This is probably never going to be a legit conversation for any guy with his girl. But hey, try and have it and tell me how it goes, because I imagine I know, but it'd be funny just to hear your and what do I know? What do I know? Women are probably just super chill about it and like want to hear it, but what do I know? I realized I didn't in my first episode I didn't like talk about like what this was, this podcast slash show. I have all my topics here, which is this is crazy, by the way. I printed from my phone, and to my to my printer, obviously to my printer, but I printed from my phone, and I don't know. It just printed out in like this ridiculous font. Like, why would it even? How could this even be like a default setting? It's crazy. Absolutely, just lost my mind for a second. Just went off on a tangent. And but I didn't say what what the show is supposed to be. But it is just me talking about my thoughts, um, what I'm experiencing, what I'm going through. I'm not critiquing anything. Well, I mean, in the sense of like judging something or talking about it as if like I'm the expert on it. This is my perspective. This is just coming from what I notice and what I think is going on, and some of it's informed, a lot of it's not. Um, Again, it's not me making a judgment call and stuff, but I do think like a lot of the internet is just people's opinions on everything, and it's not like I guess the way you get like views, and I've seen a lot of stuff about this from other content and other podcasts and people I watch myself. That's what gets you views, right? So maybe you could some other way. Maybe there are some. I have a plan for an episode where I'm gonna kind of talk about a few, um, content creators, whatever they are, whatever YouTubers, content people that I get like that show up on my feed that I actually follow and like their stuff. Um, but yeah, there's a space for talking about something from a very genuine perspective. Not that other people aren't genuine, but I'm not going to convince you of anything that I believe or think. I'm just talking about what I think and what I believe. Um, and this is just a thought, right? It's no extra sway or opinion that is going to be jaded by something else that's happening in the world or what somebody else thinks. No, this is just what's happening, and I'm open to change too, and so that's the kind of general gist of what I'm doing is just talking about things that come to my mind, and I do it all the time. Anyways, might as well put a camera in front of me like everybody else and see if we make some money off this. Um, oh yeah, the I was thinking about this the other day. I I don't know what the average person like whatever I've heard like America's like the fattest country. So I don't know what the average person like would say about like their eating habits. Um, but I'm a pretty picky eater and it's not and I'm not picky in the sense of like I guess I'm only going off of like what I've eaten, but I eat only certain things. But I'm a picky eater just because I know what I like now. I already know what I like and what I want to eat. Why would I? Why if I end up trying something and I like it enough for it to come into like my whatever my routine, my kind of take it into the fold of what I eat, then okay, I will. But I don't need to try new stuff. And that mentality just escapes me from how other people are. I don't even know what the definition of a foodie is. All I can think about when someone says they're a foodie, and I know this is not like this is not a correlation. This is what my brain associates with somebody saying is just fat. And and it's not fat like not fat like physically fat, even though that could be I mean it would make sense to me too. No, I just feel like that's like a fat way of thinking is like, hey, I want to eat different foods all the time. I want to try different foods, and I just don't have that in me at all. Like I don't care. I don't even think about what I want to eat. This is actually a problem. Like on my day to day, I don't even think about. I wonder how many people think about like what they're gonna eat in a day. I never think about what I'm gonna eat. Like I obviously like when I go grocery shopping, I think about like okay, here are the foods that I plan on eating, but it's the same stuff every time I go grocery shopping. I don't go grocery shopping and I'm like, oh, this would be like, oh, I'm gonna make this. I never ever do that stuff. I'm never doing that stuff. I'm open to trying stuff. I 100% would try stuff, but there's really only a few instances which I would like. I'm not just gonna be like a Grinch about or Scrooge about eating stuff, but on my own, there is almost no motivation to try new foods ever. Actually, there is no motivation. There's zero motivation to ever try new foods. I know what I like already. I know exactly what I like, and it's changed for sure. So again, I'm not stuck on what I like, but I know what I like, and I do not need to try new foods all the time or really ever. I'll just happen every food I've just happened across, and that's it's in the rotation now, right? I just happen to be born into my family. They just put food in front of me. Some of that pork chops, hate it, dude. I hate it. You can't convince me. You can't convince me someone out there knows how to cook a good pork chop. And if you do, it's some ridiculous thing with a ton of extras. You don't cook just a grilled pork chop that tastes good. It's a not good food. It doesn't taste good. So like I eat a lot of chicken, and that's it. That's all I really eat. Sometimes beef, like some steaks. Um, but I would, yeah, man. I never think about my food. This is like a problem, like with like when I'm lifting and going to the gym. Is like you obviously need to eat a certain amount of protein and get a certain amount of calories for like muscle growth. But because like I'm not like this is where meal prepping I when at my best or my most physically fit meal prepping because I'm not thinking about it. I literally go to the gym, come back, and then my next thought isn't like, oh, I need to eat in that scenario, in that instance. But I didn't think about it. I haven't eaten all day. I have like a protein shake or something like that. I haven't eaten all day. I never think about what I'm gonna eat. I just know there are certain times of the day that I eat. That's it. That's right around 2 o'clock. I eat something. And then there's right around like 5 or 6 o'clock, I eat something again. And throughout the day, I might be picking on some like relatively healthy snacks. Some of them not healthy, if I'm being honest. But I'm never thinking about how many people are thinking. I'm such, but I don't need to think about it. I know exactly what I want to eat, and I don't want to try whatever it is that you try. I was joking. On vacation, I went with I'm not on vacation. I was stupid. I didn't go on vacation. I For Christmas and New Year's, I was with my family, and we were all out to dinner, and I was making the joke because it's true, but I was making a joke that like I don't share my food. I know what I want. I know exactly. I ordered exactly what I wanted to eat because I already know. We went on that. We went out of town, and I was staying with my uncle and again my family. And we went out to eat another time, and this is the example. After I had this conversation, like I already know what I like. And then the next day we went out to eat, and people are trying new stuff. Like, oh, this looks good on the menu. I don't. It's like a French. I don't know what is it called, brunch spot. I don't know. I don't eat, dude. I don't even know what types of what. There's so many. There's different meals now. There's different names for stuff. So they have all this. Looking at the menu, some of it's in French. I don't even know what some of the food items are. Like I can't even read the description because the font is too fancy on the thing or too whatever cursive. And I was like, I know that I eat steak. So I got this like steak sandwich thing and fries. It was amazing. It was amazing. It was like shredded steak. A few other people got some blueberry yogurt souffle French toast. Crap. Just terrible. Yeah, I knew that. I knew it already because don't need any of that, right? You want some fruit? Sometimes eat some fruit. You don't need some like formula chemistry lab thing put together to eat it. It's not. The more you do, I feel like the more you do from like the original item it is, the worse it has to get. There might be like an uptick to a degree. Like you can maybe turn like fresh fruit into something kind of good, but like I would take strawberry over strawberry jam. I don't even know how you get strawberries to strawberry jam. I would take strawberries over it, right? I'm not. I don't eat jelly. I would take strawberries, just plain strawberries, over every other form of strawberry, except for strawberry ice cream. And ice cream is the shit. That's the only other way I would eat strawberries is strawberry ice cream. Prefer strawberries. And honestly, nah, ice cream is good. I'm a picky eater, man. I don't, and it's funny because if I'm looking at like if I'm on a dating app and I see like, this is no critique of women. It's women like I love a man. I want a man who makes reservations. I'm like, dude, I'm never thinking that way, and it would be such a stark change for me to start thinking about it. Like I don't even know what it would take. Take dating for me to even like switch on that part of my brain. But I'm telling you, in my everyday life, I'm never thinking about this stuff because at some point you have to be done trying stuff, right? Or are you always trying, not growing as like a person, food? At some point you're done trying food, right? You just keep trying new foods all the time. How do you not get like, bro? I have solid like 6 to 8 things that I eat. Why do I need what are you doing with more than that? How does your stomach not just absolutely everybody who's tried bison knows exactly what I'm about to say. Dude, you didn't need to try bison. Like you could just let bison go do their thing wherever they are in America. I don't know, like the Yellowstone or whatever. You didn't need to go hunt them and turn it into a burger because it just tears your stomach up. We have cow, we have beef. Those burgers are absolutely delicious, tasty, fine. We don't need burgers from other. Why are you going and trying stuff that it's already good right here? I think that's what it is too. It's people are being greedy, and you're being greedy. You are. You know you don't need this. You already have so many options, and we're just like, nah, I'll take more. I'll try this. I want to go to this. Dude, I'm out. I'm out on it. I'll do it. I'll do it when I'm dating. I'll do it when I'm dating, and that's fair. And I'm obviously not a man of my word. I'm obviously not. I'm not willing to stand in my convictions around being, but I am a picky eater, and like, I just don't think about food ever. And when I am gonna eat something, like I said, I go to the grocery store. I go to Costco. Actually, Costco just has this plug for Costco. Get a membership. Trust me, there's no kickbacks here. Could Costco sponsor me? That'd be crazy. They put a tangent. I'm reeling it back in. Um, they have this Chipotle chicken. It's delicious. So good. That's it. I just go get chicken. Sometimes get beef. Right. Get some rice. If they have some veggies I like, a lot of times the macros in it aren't great. I'm just kidding. the macros. Yeah, sometimes I'll get some veggies and make it like a little bowl, like a little bowl, something like that. You can season chicken different ways. You can have chicken all different different tastes of chicken, right? But chicken is chicken. It is what it is, man. You want to do something a little nice, make a little sauce, throw on the chicken, make a little sauce, man. Throw a little something in the pan. Use the extra juices from the chicken to make a little sauce. Perfect. But I've never had Indian food. I've never had Indian food. Um, and this is no disrespect to Indian food. I know is pad thai Indian food? Maybe I have. No, that's Vietnamese food. Um, I mean, pad thai is awful. I don't care. It's awful, dude. It is so bad. And I know that is not the only type of Vietnamese food. I don't even know if it's Vietnamese food. Fact check me. Pad thai is so awful. But there's foods I've never eaten, and I have no intention on doing it. I have no intention on doing it. There's no reason. Obviously America. I don't know. Obviously, America is just taking on like other parts of the world's like cuisine and then turning it in like a Americanized. American food is great, dude. Dude, it's great. Yeah, some of our snacks do a little too much extra in there. We'll get those things out of there, but it's good. It's good the way it is. I know what I like. There's no reason. There's no reason to. But it's just funny because it's funny to me because some people are just like always wanting to try new foods, and I'm like, you go to the restaurant and but if they had chicken tenders, I'm 32 years old, and if a restaurant like a nice restaurant, I don't care if you're gonna like fancy up the aesthetic of. I mean, don't go too far. You know what I mean? Don't go too far. I don't care if you're gonna make it like your own dish. But chicken fingers are chicken fingers, man. Like if you have chicken and you bread it and deep fry it, throw it on the plate and give it to me. I'll take it. Like that's fine. However you're gonna do it, do it. You can make it the way you want to make it, but it's fried chicken at the end of the day. It's gonna go down, right? I don't need other stuff. I don't need other. If you want to make it look fancy so it looks appropriate for the restaurant that I'm at, do it. But offer it because I promise you, whatever duck sauce, mushroom, I don't even know. Listen, I am trying to come up with foods because I don't even know what foods people eat because I don't eat them. I have no idea what people are eating out there. Um, but we gotta chill. You gotta. I try picking a few things and laying off. I think you're gonna be a lot happy. I have no idea what I'm talking about. Um, but it is a funny thing that I'm just so I don't even think about it on a day to day basis. Like today, I woke up, I have my protein shake, and then for the rest of the day, up until 2 o'clock, I'm not even thinking like, oh, I'm hungry. I just know, like my body knows at 2 o'clock, around 2 o'clock is when you're gonna eat, right? And I might not, but it usually like I'm like, okay, let's try to eat something. And it's at that point I'm like, what do I have? All right, I have some food cooked. Like I have my chicken cooked. Just put a chicken and rice together or whatever. Eat that. Let's go, right? And I promise you, it's not a. This is not a like oh, food is just for nutrition. I'm not one of those. I'm not one of those. God, one of those people, right? It's not just. I'm not just like. I'm not. I mean, I'm big, but I'm not. I'm not big. I'm not like one of those people either, who's like only eating for like workout gains or like food is just for nutrition or nourishment. I don't have time to be where I'm at. It's nothing like that. I know what I want to eat, and that's it. I don't need. I know what I want. I don't eat to get like big or muscular or shredded or anything like that. I'm not eating to save time. I'm not eating a certain way to save time. Nothing. I know what I like. That's it. Period. Because the other side of it too is like I wouldn't eat something that I didn't like, and I feel like there's a lot of that goes on like in like workout culture. But I'm not meal prepping for 7 days and just heating up just cold ground beef. Did that just made me mad? Actually, that actually made me mad. I'm not doing that. So I'll make sure I cook. I'll maybe cook like a couple meals at a time. So I will reheat it, obviously, but so it's not that. I just grew up that way. Like I didn't grow up like we didn't go out to eat really ever. I didn't grow up like on fast food. We just got it sometimes, of course, but yeah, man, and it's never been like a priority for me. So I know that's where it comes from, but it is interesting just to see stuff on dating apps where girls are talking about reservations or they even put on their profiles foodies, or I see other people talking about food. I'm Action Bronson I think has a show. There's a few other like people that I see on like on YouTube and stuff like that. I'm like, what's his name? Alexander Volkanovski, the UFC fighter, has like a food thing. I think they actually did a collab. That's what I'm probably remembering now. And I'm just like, I mean, Action Bronson, but Volk's he's a shorter guy, but I mean, he's obviously like in shape because he fights. Um, I'm like, what is happening? What do you? It's so interesting that people are like into food. Like food is like an identity for some people, or yeah, it's an identity for some people, or it's something that they just enjoy so much that they like will dedicate a portion of their lives to like content. There was I'm so glad we're away from we are away from it. Maybe we aren't. Maybe there's just so much more. I think there is just so much more. But there was this time where like everybody took pictures of their food. Do you remember this? If this is still happening, do not send it. Send it to me. Send it to me so I can get mad about it. Nothing. Nothing makes me more angry than when you get food and you take a picture of it right away. For what? No. For what? What's happening? What's happening right now? No chance. There is no chance. And I know I am wrong about this, but I'm gonna stick to the train of thought. There's no chance there's anybody who follows you, likes you as a human being, who gives a shit about what you're eating. But you'll post it anyways. They'll post it anyways. I see a lot less. I think it's moved to like stories now. Like people are no longer making it like their main post. I think that's what's happening because I don't see it enough. I'm obviously not. maybe I need to get on more for this, but I'm not on social media a lot. Anyways, that's so annoying. It's so annoying. I don't see as much of it, so good. Don't post your food. Do what you want, but same thing with the makeup. Do what you want. I'm not telling you not to wear makeup. I'm not saying don't wear makeup. I'm simply saying I'm gonna quit while I'm ahead. Sure, there's some people who like we gotta go. Like let's plan like our next time out around like getting to this place or trying this thing. If I'm gonna plan anything that intensely, it's going to be to get to the place that I already know is good. I'm gonna put so less intention and pressure around trying something new, because if I put all this intention and energy into trying something new and it sucks, we have to be able to I have to be able to pivot so quickly. Ice cream is the thing too. Like I've thought about this. This is how like my like anxious brain works too. I've thought about this. I know that if I ever have a bad experience, ice cream is the solution to it. I don't eat a lot of ice cream, but I know I love it. So I'm not planning around trying something new, and it's so crazy to even imagine that people would do that. I feel like that's so risky. Like I almost feel like people would be fine with, like I would never be like, oh man, it was cool to try this at least. Mm-mm. This is why I'm so picky about my food, right? I'm not a sharer of my food. I will share it. I will be pissed that I'm doing it internally. You won't hear it from me if we're on a date, but I'm pissed. I am. I'm pissed. I know what I like. I picked it out for a reason. I didn't plan on sharing it. I didn't want to share it. I'd actually rather buy like the same meal I ordered a second time so that you or anyone else that I'm out with can have some of that, so that I can just have my, because I'm going to eat it. I'm going to eat it all, probably. And even if I don't eat it all, I wasn't planning on sharing any bit of it. If I got to the end of it and there's some left and I'm not going to take it home because I don't take home leftovers, have at it at that point. But up until then, we have no idea. We have no idea how hungry I am, how much of this I'm going to eat. I might be really going for it. And then you took some of that and now have affected my experience eating when I've thought really much with intent of, I know what I want, this is why I picked it, and that's it. I would never risk that on something new. Again, if I'm trying something new, I'm going to lower the stakes. I'm trying something. Guess what? If this doesn't work out, we're going to have an ice cream spot. And it's not going to be, we're not trying multiple new things. It's going to be a DQ Blizzard, a Scooters. If you're in Georgia, shout out Scooters. Shout out Scooters. Yeah, so, yeah, don't people planning around like restaurants and I'm gonna be in this place. Let's try this. Let's plan our trip or our night or whatever. But this is the place. I'm like, nah, dude. That's food is the last thing on my mind, and in my day to day life, it's so hard. I don't even switch it on, and it's probably like one of the reasons why it feels so weird to like be out with people or on a date eating, because I'm like, I don't like it either. I don't like, not even just like, I mean, there's a small part that is like, if you sit down and eat, like you kind of have to talk, and I'm not always like one to like want to do a lot of talking, but I'm also like, I know what I'm eating, and I don't like love food. Like there's nothing like, I'm so happy. Is there anything that I'm so happy to eat? I don't even associate happiness with eating. That's crazy to me that anybody could. It's not crazy that anybody could. It's just so far away from how my brain thinks. It is. Yeah, I don't equate it to eating. Ice cream is. I have a list here of some inventions, but it is crazy to be like, hey, this is thing that we're using now, and it seems so simple. It is the thing that is so commonly used, but seems so simple, And the more and more I think about it, I think like, how did somebody come up with it? I don't believe I would have come up with anything, because now it feels like, and it had to have felt that way back then. Like everything's already been invented. Like they had this. That thought cannot be so unique. The only reason why I think it could be unique is that there's objectively like just more people now, and there's just more stuff that I do think like creativity has like a somewhat of a like fashion, film, art in general, music. There is this like recycling of certain things. I think it's very common, right? And it's still like you still make like creative, unique stuff, but it is a lot of times recycling. So I do think like you can tap the creative like extent maybe that humanity has available to them. And then maybe the only other thing is like these just like real futuristic or these real like technological advancements that kind of only come with time, I guess. But those are the things that like aren't even in my mind that I'm thinking about. Like the other day I was thinking, um, why wouldn't I have thought like if I had gone up to a door, if I had gone up to a door like back whenever doors were invented, and like I'm like clawing at the side of the door to try to get it try to get it open, and like every time I had to do that, why wouldn't I think, you know what would be great if I just had something to grab on right here, if I could just reach out right here and grab, that would be perfect. I would say all of that and then just continue to claw at the. I know I would. There's no chance I would have been like, hey, if we just take like something sharp and dig a little hole in here and then put this like curved object there and let it just sit through the hole, we could just slide it through the hole and then we could just pull each way. It would be the worst prototype of a door handle, and I still wouldn't have come up with it. Door handles are just like, they're so clutch, dude. They are. They're so clutch, and they are. They're so clutch, and you didn't even think about how clutch a door handle was until I just said that either. Because people like like the saloon, old cowboy saloons. I think that's right. I hope that's not a bad place. I don't think it is. What am I thinking of? What are like the word? I'm thinking of like I'm thinking of like whatever. I'm not gonna be able to think of the word. Wherever like old cowboy times where like the prostitutes were at. There's a different name for that place. It's a whorehouse, but it's not that. It's a word for it. Can't think of it right now. Anyways, the saloon doors, the ones that kind of just. I'm thinking like a cartoon, but yeah, the ones that just go back and forth, in and out. That right there. Those are fine, but like you can't have that on your front door of your crib, right? Like that, you can't just like push it and it just keeps going back and forth, right? Especially now, but like you can't just have that happening, right? Like, dude, chill out, man. I'm trying to. It's just stop. So, they were just pushing and clawing at the doors, and then finally somebody was just like, "We have doors. Why don't doors have handles?" And everyone was like, "Yeah. What do you mean?" And that person was like, "Well, like, why isn't there something we just grab onto to help open and close this door? But we don't need it because we could just push and we can just claw until it comes like until we get a little bit of leverage. Our fingers just enough in the crack, the little gap in the door, and then it opens up. Why would we need handles for it? Why would we need? Yeah. What do you mean? We wouldn't have to then spend that extra few seconds trying to get to it. If it's not one of those double hinges, right, then you have to really get to it. Or we can have a door that just fully closes, right? And then we don't have to have the swing doors, right? Then we can one day there will probably be AC, like inside of the place it'll be cool and outside will be hot, right? And inside you're going to want to keep it cool from the outside, and you're going to need a door that just stays fully closed. I would never have come up with all that rambling for absolutely nothing. But I would never have come up with a door handle, and a door handle seems like such a simple thing. Like everybody uses it multiple times a day. There are a few styles, probably more than a few. You use it all the time, and you never think about there was a time probably. There's no chance a door came with door handles. Fact, look it up. I'm not. Look it up. There's no chance doors automatically. If doors automatically came with door handles, I think the person who invented the door, they should get a lot. They should get a lot more credit. We should be talking about them. They might deserve a day for themselves, like a holiday. Um, okay, this is just what chat came up with. Velcro and zippers. Velcro's not interesting to me at all. I are please in the comments argue differently. Why would Velcro be interesting at all? I never use Velcro, and nobody uses Velcro. And yeah. Why would anybody? Zippers is pretty impressive because there was only jackets and coats that were like you just threw it on, right? And and if you're from like the north too, we remember. is that the saying? We remember. Um, if you're from the north, if you get a nice like breeze and you don't have your jacket, all that cold air just gets up your neck, gets through your arms. It's a mess, dude. You got to have a heavy coat, right? And like that's just what somebody was thinking too. It's just like, man, a nice breeze just gets underneath that fur, bear, whatever, raccoon fur coat they had on, and they're just like, man, maybe we need. And this is zippers. I actually think zippers were probably created pretty recently. I bet they were. Zipper seems like something that like is pretty modern of an invention. People went a long time. I guess like buttons. I guess like just buttons on jackets too. Zippers. I feel like as soon as you came up with the button, you're trying to tell me as soon as the button was invented and they were put on jackets, that as soon as that somebody created the zipper, guaranteed. Look it up, guaranteed. That has to be the train of thought because it's the only thing that makes sense. And I'm saying that because I know I would not have thought of it, but that just feels like those two things are just so closely related and used together. The button had to be created like so long ago because that is so simple to me, and I still wouldn't have created it, but it was all to keep that cold air from getting underneath you when you can't even when you do this. When you do this, it's not enough. The air finds its way. Yeah, man, dude. That's why the South. That's why you got to be in Florida, guys. You got to be in Florida. Paper clips. It's so stupid. That's not even an invention. That shouldn't even count as an invention. I don't know what is paper clips made out of, aluminum or something. That's not an invention. I'm not gonna spend more time talking about paper clips. Straws. I don't use straws. I feel like this is probably gross to me, but like when I go to a restaurant, I don't use straws. Yeah, because I don't use it at I don't use it at when I drink at my place. Like I don't use straws during the day, so like like you put a straw at the table, but I never think really to if I get like a cup that has like a little hole in it with a lid. Sometimes I take it off and drink, but like then I'll use a straw, or if I have a cup that has like the thing meant for it. But if it's just like a restaurant and there's like a cup, I'm not putting a straw in like an open. No, I don't. But is a straw like an interesting, not really interesting invention? I don't. No, the lid is actually cooler. The lid is cooler of an invention because now you've just made like road drinks, right? Like before you were on your like buggy and you had a cup and you were just and it was spilling everywhere. Yeah, and back then they weren't even drinking water because they got like dysentery or whatever. So it was like your wine. So like if you're if like when you got like some alcohol in a cup, you don't want that to spill. Like that's an important drink, dude. I'm trying to get faded here. So that to me feels like the lid is way cooler. And I guess when you made the lid with a little like straw hole, that's pretty clutch because now you don't have to take the lid off to sip it and potentially spill it. You solve for the spill with the lid. The straw, I don't really see any reason. Excuse me. Post-it notes. I don't understand what chat. First of all, a lot of stuff is like office supplies. Oh, rubber bands was in here. Rubber bands are pretty sick. Actually, yeah, rubber bands. Rubber in general is pretty sick. Like whatever we use for rubber, because like I can't even imagine how somebody came to make that. But the door handle really is how do people come up with stuff? Like it's obviously like case usage. Like solve for a problem. I get it. There's a problem. Here's a way we could solve it. That's how inventions are made. Sure. I know that. What I think is so crazy though is like people were probably coming up with stuff all the time. There was probably a time in history, and I'm saying that as if like I know now it's not the time in history for this, but I feel like there was a time in history where like it was like, yo, come up with something, come up with something, come up with an invention. Like this is how we're gonna get rich, or this is how we're gonna make a ton of money. So I bet there's a ton of inventions out there that are just useless, and no one ever picked up on. Like they just really never served a purpose, or never really caught on for whatever reason. But still, the stuff that catches on seems so simple that like why wouldn't again door handles had to be invented like I don't know the 1700s. Yeah, I don't know. Check it. I don't know how many people were in the world in the 1700s. So many people at the same time had to come up with door handles. So many people at the same time had to think of door handles. It's that simple of an idea, right? Man, that would suck to be like door handles are just caught on, and you're like, I have all these door handles, and somebody else already beat me to the punch. Um, but I don't have like I have like a creative I guess brain, but it's not like that. But I do think it's interesting. It's just like a fun thing because like yeah, let's solve for a problem, but at the same time like you don't know that your invention obviously is gonna like really help enough people. Like I'm saying like Velcro for instance, like it's so widely used. I get it, but what is it really solving for? Like the average person, like I don't use Velcro. I'll think about it right now. I'll think about it right now. Cue Jeopardy music. Nothing. There's one thing I own. It's a I own a like a car reader. Like you hook it up to your car. It reads like the codes or error codes, or tells you the error codes or whatever it does, something like that. I don't know how to work on cars. And inside of it, it has Velcro straps for the actual uh reader, the code reader machine, whatever. That's it. And that is it. Came. It's a box that came with. I don't actually use Velcro for anything. I think there's so many people like me. Oh no. My couch. My couch has Velcro for the. Okay, well, dude, I'm gonna start rattling off all the Velcro in my crib. That's it, dude. The couch cushion, the ottoman has like Velcro. The not even the couch. The ottoman only has Velcro to keep the cushion down. I like it. That's useful. That's what Velcro was for, right? To keep stuff. Don't want to glue everything down. I'm sure glue was 100% invented before Velcro. Look it up. Yeah, I would say that's the only Velcro that I use, and that's enough of a reason to have Velcro 100%. Because if that cushion was just sliding off all the time, I'd be pissed about it. And that holds in the thing, the screen monitor that helps read. Fine. Probably not a better solution. And again, I couldn't think of it. If there's another invention that need to be thought of to do that better, I won't think of it. If there's something else out there that would help my couch, magnets already exist. Maybe that would make sense. Probably not. Velcro makes more sense. That's the other thing too. Is like Velcro does make the most sense, and if there is something else that makes more sense, I will never think of it. Like if there's something else, that's the thing too. Is like when you're coming up with an invention, you're solving for a problem, and then you're thinking of like logistics, right? Like, does this make sense in this case use for enough people to think it will over this other thing we're using, like the zipper, right? People write zippers over. I guess these pants have zippers and buttons, but where you could replace buttons that are only used in the same way that zippers are being used, zippers are always going to go over buttons. I guess unless you're like looking for a certain look, that's like fashion. That's where we've gone outside of the scope of what I'm trying to say. Yeah, so that's the thing too. It's like you have to come up with something, and it needs to be something that trumps the reason why we would use the other thing before it. I would never be able to do that. I would never be able to do that. I mean, I'm so late to podcasting. Like I just now decided, like, hey, I talk to myself sometimes. Let's record it. So, dude, if you come up with an invention, put it in the comments. I promise I won't steal it. If it's good, I won't steal it. I definitely won't steal it if it's good. Um, I was having this conversation with somebody, uh, maybe yesterday or the day before, and they were trying to make the point, or they were making the point. They didn't try. They were making the point that if somebody had like done them wrong, or in that context, that's why the conversation was somebody had done them wrong. But they were basically saying like, if you didn't do what I needed you to do when I wanted you to do it, or when I needed you to do it, I don't want you to do it now. Is essentially what they're saying. It's too little, too late, basically. And I think it's so funny because some people think this way. This is just funny to me. Some people think in like analogies, or like I guess metaphors, or some type of like explanation rather than the actual words to articulate what they're trying to say. So this person was saying like, and I didn't fact check this at all. I was just taking it in. This person was like, humans have the same like bone structure in their feet that they do in their hands. And the point that they were making was essentially your feet, if you use them the same way you use your hands, they would work the same way as hands. I don't know if I explained that well. Essentially, the structure of your feet and the bones in your feet are the same as your hands, and otherwise could be used the same way if you practiced it. I don't know. And he was saying, using that analogy though to make the point. I think that I explained that well enough. If I didn't, then that was stupid. But this is what he said to make the point that if if you didn't help me back then, like if I didn't need my feet to live my everyday life, like if I didn't need that, if I gotten used to it, and now my everyday life is just fine, or I've learned to be productive without it, I don't need to use my feet now to grab stuff. I was like, it's the point was clear. I understood what the person was trying to say, and I just, part of me though, in thinking about it, is just like, that is such an interesting. Obviously, that's a funny like analogy for the point you're making, but it's also just like an interesting way to think. And I was just like, I think there's so many words that you could have used to just say that in the first place. But I was like, the feet thing just threw me for a second, because I was like, I don't know at all if that's true. So I'll take you at your word for it. And then also and then I got to thinking like, I mean, if you practice using your feet like hands, and like your feet could essentially be hands, and they could be just good quality feet too, that'd be pretty dope. My dad is this way. My dad is not that way, but my dad is in the sense of like people using like different ways to like communicate. He sends me like Bible verses sometimes, and I know my siblings know this is the case too. It's funny to me because that's the way he's choosing to like tell me something, and I know that maybe on his side, just like this person explaining to me, thinks that I'm gonna be able to best pick up what he's trying to say by making the feet analogy. He's sending me Bible verses, and I'm like, the Bible is just like a whole bunch of stories and all these other um that you have to like read into and try to interpret like the meaning behind it. I'm like, I think you could have just said you love me. Is this the way that the Father loved the Son? I'm like, are you trying to say you love me, dude? That's so interesting that people think that way. My brain doesn't think that way. It doesn't think in like scenarios like that. And I wonder. I think that's so weird. Not in like a bad way, of course, but like it's uniquely weird. But we all have our things, I guess, to think in like scenarios. Like I if I can't explain it in words, what I do is like ramble. Like I'm sure I've done it enough on this. I just keep rambling, right? It's one of the things like I have a problem with. Is like I just keep kind of talking and talking. I'm not very concise, but I'm gonna go for it. I'm trying to get every word possible in there to make sense of what I'm trying to say, and then people are like, I don't think I've probably made it more confusing because I did that. So yeah, I thought that was just like a funny thing that happened. Hey, the analogy was, if analogy is the right word, the analogy was funny because you just talk about feet, and I was like, I mean, I think that'd be pretty cool to be able to use it, but I was like, that seems like a pretty simple idea that you could have just used words to explain, but I'm pretty sure this is like one of those people whose like brains like maybe worked that way or just had thought about it previously. Do you do that? Do you like come up with scenarios to explain yourself? Like halfway through talking, do you like divert to a scenario? You like me, like I probably like I just like keep talking. Like I just keep going until I've said all the words that I feel like I can say, and I don't know many words, so I probably repeated myself, and then it still makes no sense. So that's my thing. My dad sends Bible verses, and I guess I have to go look them up and then do a Bible study to understand what he meant to send. That's it. See you next time.
Nice.